and welcome back to the channel where we get your mind right, your spirit right, and your money right. I know I usually come on live on Thursdays, but I wanted to share this thing, and you can call it a rant or what have you, but I've been getting a lot of clients, both business and individual, for coaching. And one of the things that I have really come to see, and it's starting to ignite me, like I'm really starting to get annoyed. I'm really starting to be upset about it because it's just not fair. And when I say not fair, not in a victimizing way, I'm talking about it's not fair to you. It's not fair to God. It's not fair for your calling and your assignment. And enough is enough. And we have to start realizing and understanding that we all have this different life. We all have this different walk within the life that's very much the same. Okay. And one of the things that I've been recognizing is a lot of times when my clients are frustrated, when they're upset, when they say or feel like they're stuck, more often than not, what's happening is they feel that way because they're comparing themselves. And I'm sure you have heard of comparison. You're aware of it, that comparison steals your joy. But one of the things that I don't feel like a lot of people understand is why and how comparison steals your joy. You have to see it like this. So one of the things that I have done is, and a lot of people know me for this, they know that when they look at my life and look at my social media, they're like, oh, you have it all. You're married and you have kids and you have businesses and you're traveling and you're doing this and doing that. Yeah, I am. And I thank God for that. That's by God's grace. And that's not something that you should compare yourself to or feel down about. I'm in my 40s, okay? And my path has been a bit different from what I thought it was going to be. My path has given me all kinds of obstacles and mountains and frustrations that I just never thought I was going to have to deal with, but it has. And so people are looking at me now, but they don't know and they don't see the story. They don't see the process. They don't see or care to pay attention to it. But if you don't pay attention to it, this is what I tell my clients, if you don't pay attention to it, all you're doing is setting yourself up for failure. All you're doing is negating your power, your ability, your dominion, what's been put on you, your anointing, the calling that's on your life. And you have to stop ignoring what's on you in order for you to use what's on you. Hello, okay? The thing is this, and I see this especially with women. We say, okay, now I'm young, 20s, 30s. We want to be married. We want to have kids. We want to have our house. We want to have a good career. We want to have be able to travel. We want to listen. You can have all things. All things are yours. All things belong to you. But sometimes, most times, you're not going to have everything at the same time. You're not, you can have it all. I want you to dream big. I want you to have it all. I want you to do as God says, right? All things are yours. Know that and walk in that. Be that. But all things are yours, not always all at the same time. Sometimes in some seasons, you're working on establishing a certain thing. And then in this season, you're establishing this thing. And then in this season, you're establishing this thing. But while you're establishing, notice that what it is that you want is all coming together. It's all coming to fruition. This particular client that I'm thinking of, so she's young, she started young, and she was opposite of me. So she's young, she has her business, she's a boss, she's making 6 figures. It's easy for her. She knows what to do. She's established in her career. So she has her career money coming. She has her business money coming. She's doing fine. She is set, right? And I'm like, wow, that is what I wanted for myself. That is what I was desiring for myself when I was younger, right? As well as having the marriage, having the kids, having the house. And I didn't know what I was asking for at the time, because knowing what I know now, that would have been a mind-blowing reality and trying to put and have all those things working together and be flowing. It would have been a lot. So she's young, she's doing well, she's making money, she's establishing her career, she's going to be fine no matter what happens in the economy, no matter what happens, and she's firm in her relationship with God, good. But she's complaining. And she's complaining that she's not married yet. And the guy she likes is dating somebody. But then she was dating somebody and then he was single. And so it's like, all these things. And so she's feeling like, okay, this is not cool. This, the enemy's working against me. And I told her, I said, what if it's not the enemy? What if your youth, your 20s and your 30s is meant for establishing yourself in your career, in your business? This is God's path for you. And then your late 30s, 40s will be your marriage and your kids. What if that's the way God has laid out your path? What if that's how He's constructed it for you? And what if so far you have been operating in accordance to your path, but now you're upset, you're frustrated, you're going through all of this mental anguish and suffering for no reason because you are focused on what you don't have instead of focused on what you do have. Focused on the part of your path that you're on right now. And it was like an epiphany. And I said, listen, your life is what I expected for myself. That's what I wanted. But that's not how it worked. For me, in my youth, I was married, kids, ministry. I was establishing that in those years. My establishment financially didn't come until later in my 40s, which is what a lot of you guys are really seeing now. If you go to my social, sometimes in my comment section, you'll see people who've known me for years. And they're saying, wow, you guys, me and my husband, you guys have come a long way. And I want to bring this to you so that you can really see something. I want you to stay in gratitude. Be thankful for what's on your life, for the calling, for the assignment, for what has been pre-written for you, because it's for you. When people say, oh, you're young, you should be married by now, you should have kids by now, according to what standard? According to what pathway? Is that how it's supposed to be for everybody? Imagine if everybody was getting married, having kids at the same time. Literally, economically, that is impossible because that would put too much pressure on our natural resources and even the resources that we've created. It will put too much pressure. It's not possible. It's not possible. So there has to be a deviation. I was even saying to her, we just really just sat down to talk about it. I was like, just think, like, imagine if everybody was having the same experience at the same exact time. That's impossible. It's not even realistic. I said, are you telling me that even in the let's say in the 60s and the 70s that all women were getting married when they were in their 20s? Absolutely not. That was not what was happening. It's just social media that's now allowed us to see and realize that there's these different fragments of society in which women are getting married later. They're having kids later, not necessarily by their own volition, but just because that's their path, that's their journey, that's how things have been laid out for them. But society tells us, well, something must be wrong with you. Culture tells us something must be wrong with you if you're not married and you don't have kids. What are you doing? Why no man want to settle down with you? Why no man want to put a ring on your finger? Oh, you should be like this culture. By the time they graduate from higher education, they already have a ring on their finger. Oh, you should do like this. Why do we subjugate ourselves to our naturalness, our cultural tides, when those cultural tides are completely against what the Word of God says? Now, I don't even want to get into that. Because there's nowhere where it says you have to get married and have kids early in your life. The only thing that it says specifically, and I don't recall if this is, I think it's the book of Proverbs, where King David was telling Solomon, enjoy the wife of your youth. Or this, yeah, it says enjoy the wife of your youth. Now, youth meaning what? In what translation? See, these are like, if you go deeper, what does that youth mean in the Hebrew or in the Greek? Like, we got to really look at it, because sometimes the English language is quite deficient, right? It's not long. This is like a literal rant, basically. But do yourself a favor and own your path. Sit down and look at what your life is telling you. Be like the sons of Issachar, who knew the times and the seasons. What season are you in? Just because you don't have it all right now doesn't mean you're never going to have it. You are going to have everything. You can have everything. All things are yours. But that doesn't mean you have to do it all at the same time. And it's okay if your timeline looks different than somebody else's timeline. It's okay if you have success later on in life, or you have it early in life, or you get married later, or you have kids later, or you have kids early. Like, all of it is okay. We don't have to be confined to these standards and restrictions that don't even give awareness to what God has planned for us. So with that, if this is your first time seeing me, I'm Dr. Faith Abraham. Like I said, your favorite doctor. This is a little bit of a rant, but it's okay. Just own your path. That's all I want for you, so that you don't have to be as frustrated. You can be happy. You can enjoy. You can be full of the joy that God gives. You can walk around with peace that surpasses all understanding. You don't have to be relegated to somebody else's vision for your life. Be relegated to the vision that God has for you. How do you know it? Sit down and listen. He will tell you. I tell my clients all the time, the one best way to know your life is to pay attention to it. Pay attention to your life. It will show you exactly what you need to know. It'll show you what you need to pray for. It'll show you what you need to work on. It'll show you what you need to delegate. It will show you what you need to get help with. It'll show you what you're strong in. It'll show you your power. Do it for yourself. Okay, I love you. Have a good one and walk in your path. If you have not liked this video and you like it, you should hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe and share this with someone. I know you've been having a conversation like, girl, we were just talking about this. Here's your sign that you're okay. You're on the right track. It's working out for you. You're going to have everything. Take your time and just know that every season is allowing you to build up into the fullness of what it is that's in your heart, because God is the one that gives you those desires. If He puts those desires in your heart, He's going to make it come to pass. And that's the best way to live, when He puts it there and He brings it to pass, not you putting it there and you having to make it last. All right, y'all. I'll see you in the next video.